All right, welcome back. So we're going to continue with this little character. Let's jump over to Nomad Sculpt. Okay, so let's go back to the front. And remember we changed this to a matte cap, so you want to change it back to lit PBR in order to properly paint it and add lights and all that good stuff. So let's go to this little sun tab. We'll change from matte cap back to lit PBR. All right, so you can see I have my default environment. This is one that I made. It is available on my website if you want. You can tap it and you have all these built-in environments. So the environment is just the light that's showing without any actual lights shining on the character. So it's kind of like if you were to go outside on a sunny day, that's your environment. Lights coming from the sun, reflections, whatever. It's not coming from actual lights. Let's turn that off. Everything's black. And now we can go ahead and add our first light. So let's go ahead and add a light here. Okay, so this is just a directional light. Let's go back to our lights. So the light is at 100%. It's a directional light. I'm going to go ahead and tap these three dots, and I'm going to switch to camera. And all this means is later on I'm going to do a little bit of a turntable. And if you switch it to camera, when your character spins in the turntable, the lights won't spin with it. The lights will stay where they are. So if you're using a directional, I like to keep it to camera. Okay, so we want to make sure we can see our light icons, which I don't see. Let's close this. Where are the icons? Oh, okay, I see it. So I think the gizmo is covering it. So I'm going to hit front, and let's go back to that light there. I forgot that the gizmo is on top of the light. So it doesn't really matter where you put the light. The only thing that matters is the direction of this white arrow. So if I tap front and I tap this light, you can see that the arrow is pointing this way, and this is the direction that the light is actually coming from. So I'm going to zoom out, and I kind of want to move this in that general position, but I'm going to make it easier and just hit a line. It's just easier to move the light that way. So I'll move it here and up. The reason I'm putting it here, again, because it doesn't matter where you put it, but I like to place the lights so that they appear kind of in the direction they're shining. So this one has this white arrow. That's where I'm placing it right there, so it looks like the light is hitting it. It just makes it a little more simple so I know where all the lights are and what they're doing. So let's go back to this light, and let's change this to 2. So it's a little bit brighter. Let's clone it. So we have light 1. I'm going to change the name of the original one. So I'll just tap this little pencil and change it to key. And this one, I'll tap the pencil and change to edge. So we're going to make this an edge light or a rim light. You want some light coming off this side, and then you want to have a nice edge light where that nice dark shadow is. That's going to look really nice. So we make sure we are on the edge light. Let's just move it. Let's say here and here. And here's where you want to rotate the light. So see this green ring? If you just rotate, whoops, let's take it off snap. That's why it jumped like that. And then you can move it freely. So we're just going to rotate until we see a nice bright edge. We can use this red as well. Make sure I hit front again. Okay, so now you can see that it's making a nice edge light. So something like that. You can see the light right here. You can make it a little, let's tap 5, make it a little stronger. Okay, that's nice, that's great. Another thing that I usually do is change it from white to more of a neutral color. I didn't do it, but that's okay. We can do it now. I'll tap the scene menu, and I'm going to take everything. Well, not the lights. It doesn't really make a difference. So we'll take all of the meshes, even the floor. And we'll tap this little cube with a line through it. And I like to do kind of a terracotta type color. So I'll usually do something like this. Roughness is kind of, I'll just leave these at default. And then just hit paint all and everything should take that color. And this is nice because sometimes if you have something that's completely white, the lights will actually appear brighter because, you know, it's reflection and refraction and all that stuff. So it's nice to use like a more neutral tone, like a beige, or this is like a terracotta or like a grayish color. All right, what do I want to do next? Oh, I know what we can do. So we have our light. We can also add one or two lights later on as well. So I want to go to this little shutter and I want to turn on post-process because I want to be able to see what it's going to look like, and I want to actually see how the lights are going to look with post-process on because it can be a vast difference. Okay, so I'm going to tap this and just go to DFD. So that's kind of like a default one that I always use. And here you can see you can feel free to pause it. I don't know why this is, I always have to do this though. I have to try to save it now. How can I do that? Let's see. How do I save? Long press? No. If I press that, it's going to go back to, I don't know, maybe, what if I save the project now? Let's see what happens. Unsave changes. How do I save them? I'll just make a new one. This one, oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to delete this one. And this one, I'm going to rename DFT. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Why is bloom back? Whenever you have any, like a shine like this, that's because of bloom. And bloom isn't too bad. I'm going to put the threshold up a little bit more. Bloom isn't too bad, but sometimes I like to export this as a PNG, like with no background. And it doesn't look good if you export like this glare. It'll have like a black background. It won't look right. So a lot of times I just turn that off if I'm going to export it to use like in the thumbnail or something like that. But this is up. Okay, that's how I want it. Can I go here, long press? Is it just me, or is it not letting me long press this? If I tap it, it's just going to go back. Oh. Save. Okay. All right, we're good now. Getting off track here, you know? It happens. All right, so this looks good. Let's change this light to be a little bit more warm. If you notice in films, you know, really well shot films and things like that, you'll notice that it'll be like teal and like a cool like blue color. So there'll be like an orangey color and then like a nice blue color. Some of the lighting and some of the scenery and things like that. So that's just something that looks appealing. So I like to do it with a lot of my characters. Have some lights that are warmer, which are more orangey, and some lights that are cooler, which is more blue. So we'll take the edge light, and we'll go down here, and we can just change this to a more warm color. And let's clone this, and let's make this R2. And now let's move it, and then we can just rotate it so it's pointing to the other side. And we don't want to do like another rim light. I mean, you could, but I think I want to do something a little bit more than a rim light. So maybe something like this. I'm going to bring the intensity down some. And maybe I'll just make it a bit cooler. So maybe something like that. Looks nice. So I'm going to save. Alright, so that looks nice. So we have our post-process on. Oh, the environment, that's right. Let's add, I think the light's actually good. Let's add the environment back, and let's change the exposure. So I'm going to put the exposure down because I don't need it that bright. I think that looks beautiful. Okay, so I think that looks good. The only thing next to do is color him. So what colors do I want him? So coloring is easy. You don't have to choose my colors. Just tap, just tap on whatever part you want to color, and then just tap the little cube with the line through, and then you'll be able to change the color, adjust the color. I think I might want to do, let's try yellow. And here, let's try, this is the eye. So let's try yellow for this. This can be, maybe like an off-white kind of. Add a bit of roughness. That's kind of nice. This pupil, maybe black. I like that it has a little bit. You could do it shiny, but I actually like a little bit of that little bit of roughness. I think looks kind of cool. So we'll hit paint all. What colors should... I don't know what other colors to make him. I feel like I want to make him sort of a greenish. You can kind of just fart around and, kind of figure out what colors you want for things. Maybe for this, I'll go a little bit lighter. I feel like I wanted a little more beige. And you can use the eyedropper and then just go over one of the colors that you want. Maybe we'll do a darker color. And for this, we'll do a lighter color. It's interesting and weird. I like it, but I like interesting and weird, so I'm okay with it. I wonder what it would look like if it was just like blacked out. I want to join these. These are actually quite big, these cylinders, so this is another thing where you can go into the options and you can bring the topology down. And actually that looks good, so I'm going to validate it. And I'm just going to delete this. Hit cylinder. What did I hit? Why did everything disappear? That was so weird. That was weird. That was so strange. I'm just going to clone this and then move this down. Maybe just two. Two feels right. I'm just going to take these and join them and just relabel them buttons. And then color them why are you only on one? Wait a minute. Oh, I get it. I get it. Let's delete that one. Join these two. Sometimes, so I undid, but I had made a copy of it, so it was like, that's what messed me up. So these I will join and then rename to buttons. Well, I like that all blacked out. It's kind of weird. I like it. Okay. So of course you can do lots of other cool things. The only other thing that I want to do for this is make like a darker rim. So I'm going to tap the eyedropper. And then I'm going to go back to this color and make it darker. Take paint. Tap the layer up here. Add layer. And this is going to be darker. Okay, so here's just the radius of the brush. And then I'm going to make this darker. Maybe even here as well. Any point where it comes into contact with something, I'll make it a little bit darker. And then I'm going to take, so I'm taking the smooth tool. You can tap on it and hit clone, and it'll show up on the bottom. So for example, it'll show up like smooth 2. So take this and lower the, what is it called? Lower the intensity all the way to 0. And what'll happen is now your smooth tool, your new one, which you can name whatever you want, your new one will just smooth the color. It won't actually smooth like the surface. So that's what I use when I want to get like smooth painting like this. The only downside is, not downside, but you don't want to, sometimes it doesn't work. If your model is really high resolution, then sometimes it won't work as well. But this eye is not very big, so it's working. It's working alright. So I clicked on the yellow eye, and I'm going to add another layer. And this one can also be darker. And these are just little details that I always do, so I'm going to do them. So eyedropper, so I did that really quickly. I tap the color, and then I tap the eyedropper. Tap the color, tap the eyedropper, and then just move it onto the color I want. Back to the color, make it darker. Paint, I'm going to make sure I'm on the correct layer, yep. And then you just paint on this darker color. And then the same thing, I'm going to go back to my smooth tool, smooth 2, and obviously you can go here and save it if you want to have it permanently as one of your options. And then I'm just going to smooth this and make this nice and dark. Now you can tell that this probably looks a little too dark, but that's okay because we used the layer. So now we can go to the layer and we can lower it. We can do all that. So then it looks really nice. So something like that looks really beautiful to me. Beautiful. beautiful. I think I might have liked the green color, huh? What do you think? I'm going to save. But yeah, I like it. I think it's cute. So the only extra things that I might do, which I don't think well, I guess I can do like a little bit. For example, I have quad remesher, which I think is worth it. I'm going to use it for most of my tutorials. If you don't have it, you can always just go to this little option here, miscellaneous, and decimate. So that will bring the size of certain things down. Like these two little things, like they shouldn't be this high, the resolution. So I'll go to quad remesher. I'm going to turn these off. I'm going to put the wireframe on so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. See, this wireframe looks a bit weird. So I'm just going to hit half, and it's going to cut the thing in half, like size-wise and topology-wise. So see, that looks a lot better. I can probably do half again, and it still looks fine. You know, so things like that you can do to kind of optimize it. The hands look okay. Maybe I'll do half. Wait, why do I feel like... Oh, no, that was right. Okay, that looks good. So you can kind of go through... Oh, the feet are really big. Let's turn symmetry off. Let's do a quick save. And then let's just do... Let's change this to 15,000. Let's do 15K and see how they look. Because right now they're 72K. That's way too big for some random little feeties. Way too big. Okay, well, let's do half and just see. So it looks good. So, you know, we lowered the size. You can obviously do it a lot more and make it really, really low, but it's pretty low. For what we need, it's fine. So I'm going to go back to the eye, take my layer, and I'm just going to merge layers. I'll go to the head, merge layers. We don't really need the floor anymore, so I'm just going to delete it. And we have ears, body, mirror is arms, and mirror is legs. So we can just join them together, that's fine. This will be black. We have buttons. Yeah, everything else is good. Why is it doing that? I'm so confused as to why it keeps doing that to me. Zooming in really close. Send help. Let me turn the wireframe off. And let's go to view. Okay, so it looks pretty cool, pretty interesting. Hopefully that was helpful. As I said, let me turn this off, the reference image. And let me find a frame. Okay, I like the way that looks. So I'm going to go to this little camera, add view, and I'm just going to rename this 1. So if I'm farting around, I can always go back to that same view. And then if you want to export as an image, you just go to this little folder and you can go down to render, transparent background. So I'll render this as a PNG, so it'll just be this, the background won't render. I don't even know how long I've been recording. Oh, it's only 24 minutes. It's not too bad. So we'll send this to my computer. Okay, and the only other thing I would do is press here. Here's the turntable options, but since I'm using an iPad, I'm going to use my shortcut and screen record, and then just hit turntable. And now we have a nice, beautiful turntable. So the only other thing that I might do with this is bring it over into Blender just to have a nicer turntable, because I always like to do it. So I'm not sure if I'll record it. I might just do some more Nomad Sculpt tutorials since those do the best on my channel. So hopefully this was fun. Hopefully you learned a lot. Leave me a note. Let me know who you are, what you liked, and or just say hello. Keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video. And here's my Skillshare promo. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to go more in depth, then definitely check out my Skillshare classes where I am a top teacher. I have about 50 classes, both Procreate and Nomad Sculpt. I also have a few classes on Udemy, so if you want to learn more, or you just like my style, you like the way I teach, you want to support me, those are some other places that you can do it. Thanks again, keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video.